we believe in a God that's it's a healing God.
Yes.
And we believe that she's going to come out of this and she's going to be stronger and she's going to reach people. She's going to crowd heaven. We're going to be there beside her. And I just want everybody that sees this, to pray for her because God's good.
Yes, He is.
And it's going to be an awesome story for her to tell. It's going to be motivational encouragement, but it's called Gracie's Out. GracieDavisStrong.com.
Okay.
So I've put it. I just try to keep myself busy, so I went and researched education, researched just everything, ways that you can help. And I'll find the money. I'm not asking for money.
Right.
I'm asking for prayers, and I'm asking for anything somebody it's got to be on your heart.
Yes.
I'm not going to ask for a single dollar. That's just not me. I'd rather have a prayer than a dollar any day because good Lord, He'll take care of the money.
He will.
So I just want to, I saw that, I said, man, they're fixing to do it. And I saw that right there. I was like, hey, I got a good story for you.
That is awesome.
I mean, these guys, look, first responder reached out. He called the first RV company he saw on Google. And this guy says, I'm Frank with RV. He said, whatever you need, it's yours. And the guy said, what do you mean? He said, your money's no good to me. He said, well, what do you mean? He said, let me tell you what happened to me. He said, my son was in Orange Beach, Alabama last summer and got run over. And those Alabama people, they had everything we needed. We didn't spend a hotel room. We didn't have to cook a meal. They took care of our family. And I always told myself if I could give it back, I would give it back. So, it's just things like that. We had a prayer vigil Sunday at the church, a service that was just for Gracie.
Wow.
Just
God bless.
Our preacher went to anoint a towel, so he goes into a store, he's gonna get the nicest blanket he had. Guess what it rang up for? 1 penny.
What?
They rang it up again, 1 penny. They got the manager there. They said, well, it's 1 penny. It's 1 penny.
It's 1 penny.
So the preacher left 1 penny on the door, walked out, and it was the best blanket in the whole shop. So God was already working miracles.
Yep, already.
So it's going to be an awesome story. It's going to reach people. It's going to touch people. There's people donating and calling and telling their testimonies. I had one of my customers from Arizona, Phoenix, call me today. She had 4 brain surgeries. She said, stay in a coma for 60 days, woke up. And I put a verse on my Facebook last night about the mustard seed. The faith, small as a mustard seed, can move mountains. And she had forgot about me because she actually works for the same company I do. And I'd reached out to her like 2 years ago and helped her with a client. And she saw that come across her Facebook and she said, she wears a mustard seed necklace every day. So she was going to send me a message, and she remembered when she saw that, she saw the other messages. She said, well, there's got to be some other connection between Facebook and just being spot on. That's who we work for. So she went to my Facebook and she saw about the TBI, the traumatic brain injury. And that's what she had 4 times ever since she was 12 years old. She's 48 now.
Okay.
So she called me, man. We talked like 2 hours. She told me her testimony. She said, when everybody wanted to give up, Mom called everybody. They crowded. You couldn't even walk inside the emergency room, and they had prayer.
Yes.
And she ended up waking up about 6 days later.
Yes.
And while her mother was downstairs eating in the cafeteria, only person in the cafeteria, the phone kept ringing. She kept looking around like, is somebody going to answer this phone? There was a guy in there mopping. So she said, she went over there and she answered it, and there was nobody on the other end. So she said, that must be my sign that I need to get back upstairs. So she walks up in the room. The nurses are all crying. They're in tears. And she goes, oh no, what happened? She goes, oh no, Miss Betty, you're going to be happy. Her daughter looks around and says, hey, Mama.
Ooh.
30 days she was in that coma for 30 days. And while her mama hadn't eaten in a long time, and they said, man, you just need to go down and get you something to eat. So the good Lord was blessing her while she was down there nursing her body. So that's just trying to get the word out there, but it's going to be awesome. We're going to use this app to reach so many people that's going through the same situations that we are. It's going to be awesome. It's Gracie's Out. If you'll, GracieDavisStrong.com. GRACIE.
Gracie Davis.
Strong.com. And you'll see education about brain. I've went in there and taught. I've got stories on their testimonials. I've got Bible verses where it says this. I've got education where people know exactly what brain injury is. I think lots of times when we have injuries, like our grandma had cancer, her mother. We didn't really know anything about cancer, you know.
Right.
So we go and we start researching, right? Because we want to know what to expect, what's the symptoms, what's the worst case scenarios. We always, you know, try to stay away from the worst case scenarios. But
Okay.
I don't know anything about brains,
Right.
you know. So I started doing my research. You know, I've got 4 or 5 days, you know. So I wanted to educate people on what to expect. You know, how to help her with therapy, which is being positive, being motivational,
Yes.
what to be saying to her when you first see her. So I've got all that listed on there. There's a lot more to come. But yeah, if y'all can help me share that.
Yes, I want to, because I have a YouTube channel and I'm just coming out of a slump myself.
Yeah.
Can I use that and like talk
Absolutely.
about it, post it on the screen behind me and talk about the testimonies? Because
Absolutely.
that's what I want to spread, stuff like that.
Absolutely. Anything I can do. I'm in here. I've got a market.
Okay.
I can do to help you guys. Come to Dave's Burgers, home with all you can eat fries, and like my brother had the biggest smile on his face, and I was like, man, this place has got culture. He said, well, you better get some more potatoes. And it was just like they treated us like it was
They
a
wanted
it was
you
a
there.
fast food place, but it was sit down. And then the two managers were talking beside us. I said, look, Drew, he even says it on his shirt. It's a family-friendly culture. We treat everybody the same. And so they give you this little sample ice cream after you get done.
Mm-hmm.
Brother loves ice cream.
Okay.
So he had it all over his face. And the manager thought I was staring at him, but I was reading his shirt.
Right.
So I said, look, man, y'all just made our day. We needed this, fresh, breath of fresh air. And I kid you not, like my brother had ice cream all over him. Like he loves ice cream. And this little, probably 19, 20-year-old guy comes and brings the ice cream cone about that tall. He said, somebody ordered this in the drive-thru and they needed to know it was a vanilla and chocolate swirl. So you look like you're enjoying it, so I want to give it to you. And like, if you'll email me, I'll email you some of these pictures.
Okay.
But like, I just want to show you the look on my brother's face when he's eating this ice cream, because it's priceless. So this is the sample they give you.
Okay.
So this is my brother. Like, look at this. Like, I mean, it was just.
It is priceless. I love it.
So the first responder that first got a hold of me, I was telling him a story about it the next day because they were feeding us. And I said, Frank, man, I ate this place last night. It was called Dave's Burgers. He's like, you're kidding me, right? I'm like, no. He's like, I used to be the general manager of this place.
Oh my goodness.
He said, but they have a thing that when you work there, you bend down before you go to work and you rinse your hands off with bleach. And you're supposed to say a prayer of something that you can do to impact somebody's life. And he said he kept kneeling down. He said, because he was an EMT for 20-something years, but he was suffering from PSD from stuff like Gracie's. You know, these young kids, man, they get to see the worst of the worst, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was taking, so he wanted to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
So he did the Dave's Burgers, but he had to work. He was taking time away from his kids, his family, his church. And he said one day he kneeled down and he was going to do and he prayed. He said, "Good Lord, I just feel like I'm not making that big of an impact of what I was doing, but why did you bring me here?" And he said the good Lord spoke to him. He said, "Frank, I didn't bring you here. You wanted to make more money. This is what it feels like to make more money. You're going to have less time with your kids, less time with your church, less time with your family." So he said he had to quit that. So he learned to do stuff like he did for me, feeding the families. He uses that as the PTSD therapy instead of the medicine. So, when we're like, man, Frank, this is too much, he's like, it's not enough. Not enough. Because it's not help. It's therapy to him also.
It is.
And that's what people don't realize. It's like when you give, you've got to be humble enough to know that it's helping that person too.
Mm-hmm.
It's helping them more than it might be helping them more than it's helping them.
Mm-hmm.
The person you're giving it to. So, it's just, I could tell on about stories that we've had the last 7 days. Like,
I would love to get online with you and like do maybe do my brain right now. I need food. Yeah. Yes.
So I'm leaving.
We were going here. I wanted a pastrami sandwich, and I didn't want to go to the casino because if you go to the casino, you throw something in the machine. So I said, you know what? Let's just stay away from the casino.